What if I told you that everything you know about the markets is incomplete? What if the problem isn't in your analysis, your strategy, or even the market itself? What if the enemy resides in a place you've never thought to look, inside yourself? Welcome, warriors of the trading arena. I am Jesse Livermore, and this is not another channel about indicators, magic tips, or promises of quick riches. This is a journey into the depths, to where real decisions are forged, and to where the battles that define every trader's fate are fought. Today, we will talk about what no one else speaks of, about the moment the green number on the screen becomes a false witness, the moment confidence turns to arrogance, and the moment discipline becomes just a word we repeat without living its meaning. I have seen professionals collapse in seconds, witnessed accounts evaporate like smoke, and listened to unbelievable justifications for avoidable losses. The question that always haunts me is, why? Why do intelligent people repeat the same mistakes? Why do we know the right path, yet choose the maze? The answer may shock you. It may anger you, but it will inevitably confront you. Because today, we will not search for a new strategy. We will dive into the very roots of failure itself. In the coming minutes, I will break taboos with you. I will tell you what others dare not say, and I will share lessons I paid for dearly from my reserves, not just financially, but emotionally and psychologically. This is not for the weak. This is for those who dare to face the mirror, for those who want to build real wealth that starts from within before it appears on the screen. So prepare yourself, because the journey begins now. Most traders are not defeated by a lack of information, but by their inability to bear the truth. The truth is harsh, silent, and indifferent to how much you think you know. It doesn't matter what book you've read, what strategy you've copied, or what indicator you've loaded. If you cannot control your actions when the market tests you, you will be eliminated like the rest, without warning and without a second chance. For the market does not care who you are. It only listens to price and action. The vast majority of traders fail for one reason. They violate the fundamental principles of discipline and risk management, not once or twice, but consistently. And when the last trade goes awry, they act surprised. But the outcome was never uncertain. It was merely a matter of time. I have seen fortunes made and lost, and I have made and lost them myself. The causes do not change, and the patterns repeat endlessly. Men enter the market with emotion and exit with regret. They chase noise, ignore logic, trust others, and refuse to accept what is directly in front of them. The tape tells them what to do, and they do the opposite. This is not a game of predictions. It is a business of execution. What you believe does not matter. What you do is the only thing that counts. And if you do not understand this now, the market will teach you the hard way. So listen closely. What you are about to hear will not comfort you. It will confront you. And if you are not ready to face the reasons most traders fail, you will become one of them. Every trader begins with enthusiasm. They open their first position, achieve a small profit, and suddenly feel invincible. It seems so easy. A few dollars come in, more go out. They believe they have cracked the code. That first profit is not a lesson, it is a trap. It teaches them the wrong thing, rewarding randomness and disguising it as skill. The most dangerous moment in a trader's life is when they mistake early luck for talent. That illusion is powerful. It creates overconfidence, and overconfidence invites recklessness. They increase position size too quickly, ignore structure, and assume what worked once will work again. But the market owes them no consistency and does not acknowledge past success. It only responds to price and action. I made that mistake too. When I started winning in the bucket shops, I thought I had mastered the market, but those shops were a playground. When I moved to real exchanges, reality struck. Execution was slower, spreads were wider, and the edge I relied on vanished. My capital evaporated faster than I thought possible. Not because the strategy failed, but because I failed to understand that markets punish arrogance without hesitation. Confidence unsupported by structure is merely exposure to risk. This is what most traders never grasp. They think the goal is to be right. It is not. The goal is to survive. Those who make it past the first year are not the smartest. They are the most disciplined. They quickly learn that small profits teach nothing, but a painful, well-studied loss can save a future fortune. The market does not care about your early results, and neither should you. The only thing that matters is what you consistently do when you are tested, and the test always comes.
There is one mistake more costly than any other in trading. It is not choosing a wrong entry point or missing a breakout. It is holding on to a losing position, hoping it will come back. That silent act of waiting a little longer is what wipes out more traders' accounts than any price chart. Losses start small, a few pips, a minor pullback, a slight dip, nothing alarming. But hesitation sets in. Instead of closing, the trader watches. Price moves further against them, yet they do not react. They justify, telling themselves it's temporary. They expand the time frame, searching for news. But deep down, they know they just don't act. Hope replaces logic, and the longer they hold, the harder it becomes to exit. The loss grows, but conviction does not. It becomes a burden, emotional, financial, psychological. Soon, the loss isn't just on the screen. It is in their hands, in their decisions, in their identity. They refuse to let go, not because they still believe in the trade, but because closing the position means admitting failure. I have been there. Once I held a position far beyond my stop. I had my reasons: market noise, a temporary setback, misreading market sentiment. It was all delusion, and the result was reality. I lost more in that one trade than I had made in the previous 5 trades combined. The market did not do that. My refusal to obey my own limit did. A small loss is a trade. A large loss is a mistake. The difference between the two is time. Every second you delay is a second you surrender your account to the market, and you cannot afford that.
The smartest traders are not those who make the most, but those who lose the least. They take their losses quickly, cleanly, without hesitation. They cut what doesn't work, keeping their tools sharp. Because they know this: if you cannot bear a small loss, you will eventually be forced to bear a large one. And when that day comes, you will no longer be trading. Most traders do not build a system. They follow emotions, rumors, opinions, hope. They chase patterns they don't understand, enter positions without clear signals, and exit based on emotion instead of structure. This is not trading. This is guessing, and the market has no mercy for guesses. I learned early that instinct is unreliable. What seems right today will seem foolish tomorrow. But a system, tested, refined, and adhered to, is the only protection you have against the chaos of price action. Without it, every trade becomes an emotional decision, and emotional decisions hold no edge. There was a time when I acted on impulse. I would see a stock move and jump in.
No plan, no confirmation, just excitement. Sometimes it worked, most times it did not. But the real damage was not in the losing trades, it was in the inconsistency. I could not measure success or failure because I had no rules to measure against. That's when I realized the truth. Without a system, I was not a trader. I was a gambler with a good seat. A trading system does not need to be complex, but it must be yours. It must tell you when to enter, how much to risk, where to place your stop, and when to exit. It must be repeatable, measurable, and based on logic, not emotion. Most importantly, it must be followed. You do not advance in this game by predicting the future. You advance by responding to what is real and doing so consistently. A system gives you that ability, removing doubt and replacing it with structure. Without it, even a winning trade can teach the wrong lesson, and a losing trade can destroy far more than capital. The market punishes randomness and exposes improvisation. If you want to survive, build a system. If you want to last, follow it every time.
Emotions are the silent destroyers in trading. They do not shout, they whisper. They command you to hold on just a little longer. They convince you to ignore your stop. They make a small profit seem like failure and a large loss seem like a challenge to overcome. If you do not recognize them, they will steer your every move and lead you to ruin. Fear is the first enemy. It appears when a trade moves against you, not because the loss is unbearable, but because the pain of being wrong is unbearable. Fear keeps your hand frozen when it should move. It convinces you to wait, hope, and believe the market will reverse just for you. But the market does not reward belief. It rewards execution. Then comes greed. It appears not in losses, but in profits. A position turns profitable, and suddenly you want more. The plan dissipates, discipline softens. The idea of giving back profits becomes unbearable, so you take them too early, or worse, you overextend, chasing something that has already ended. What was once a clear decision becomes an emotional storm. I have felt both. I have exited trades not because the setup changed, but because I became nervous. I have ignored exit points because I wanted a little more. The result each time was worse than if I had followed my rules. The lesson was painful, but it stuck. Your emotions are not your guide, they are your test. You cannot eliminate emotion, but you can bridle it. And that is what discipline is, not coldness, but clarity. It is the strength to move when you feel uncertain, to follow the rules when your instincts scream otherwise, and to act not once, but every time. A strategy is only as strong as your ability to execute it without interference, and if your emotions run your decisions, your results will always belong to them, not to you. The traders who survive this game are not those who feel nothing, but those who act despite what they feel.
A common misconception among traders is that bigger size leads to bigger profits. This belief has destroyed more accounts than losing setups ever have. What most do not understand is that risk is not measured by how right you are, but by how wrong you are and how quickly you can stop the damage. I never entered a position with full size from the start. I tested, waited for confirmation, and let the market prove me right before increasing my exposure. If the trade worked, I added. If it did not, I stepped back. This was not hesitation, it was protection. I was not here to prove anything, I was here to stay. I have seen traders enter with maximum size on unconfirmed setups only to panic at the first pullback. Perhaps the trade was sound, but their position size was too large to withstand normal movement. They did not lose because they were wrong, they lost because they bet everything on being right too quickly.
Overtrading is another form of the same disease. When one trade ends, they immediately look for the next, not because the market offers something good, but because they cannot sit still. They confuse action with productivity. But the market does not pay you to trade more, it pays you to trade well. Risk is not the enemy, mismanagement of it is. Proper sizing keeps your capital alive, gives you room to think, adjust, and stay in the game. You do not win in this business by being bold, you win by being precise. The market does not care about your confidence, your ambition, or your need to recover from a previous loss. It cares only about execution. And the trader who can control their size controls their survival. Because one position with excessive risk is all it takes to erase years of discipline.
Every trader loses. That part is inevitable. What matters is what comes after the loss. Most look for someone to blame. They blame the market, the news, the timing, even bad luck. But they rarely look inward, and that is the dividing line between those who grow and those who vanish. A loss is not a failure. A loss is data. It's a report card. It tells you if your system is sound, if your discipline is solid, if you respected the structure you claim to follow. Ignoring that message is the most expensive thing you can do. I remember taking a loss that wiped out a full month's work. It hurt, but I did not walk away angry. I recorded it, analyzed it, asked the hard questions. Did I follow my plan? Did I size correctly? Was this setup valid in the first place? The process was brutal, but the clarity that followed made me stronger. What most traders do instead is bury the mistake. They avoid looking at the numbers, change the narrative, and move on without understanding why the loss happened at all. Then they repeat the same behavior in another trade, and the cycle begins anew. This is not learning, this is denial. The market is a teacher that never stops testing and does not grade on a curve. If you do not learn from the pain, it will return. Not because the market is cruel, but because you give it permission to be. A trader who cannot study their losses is no different from a gambler. Both operate without correction, and over time, both end the same way, empty. Losses are unavoidable, but they are wasted only if you do not extract the lesson. The trader who records, reflects, and refines after every mistake builds an edge no chart can give, and the one who does not will not be around to apply any lesson at all.
The need to always be in a trade is one of the most dangerous habits a trader can develop. Many think that if they're not actively buying or selling, they're falling behind. But the truth is, most of the time, doing nothing is the smartest decision you can make. I learned to wait. I learned to sit on my hands until the market gave me what I was looking for. The setup had to be clean, the conditions aligned, my focus sharp. If any of that was missing, I stayed out of the market. Not because I was afraid to trade, but because I respected the cost of being wrong. Most traders overtrade, not because opportunity exists, but because they fear missing it. They believe constant motion means progress. It does not. Constant motion means friction, and friction in this game is costly. Every entry, every exit, every moment spent in a weak position accumulates, not just financially, but mentally as well. Some of my biggest profits came not from a large number of trades, but from a handful of trades held with conviction. To reach those trades, I waited. I ignored the noise. I passed on setups that did not meet my criteria. I let the amateurs chase the action while I preserved my capital and my clarity. There is a difference between being active and being productive. You are not paid for activity. You are paid for accuracy, and accuracy requires patience. It takes restraint to watch the market move without you and not feel anxious. It takes maturity to know that your edge is not in how often you trade, but in how well you trade when the right time comes. The market is a constant storm. If you chase every wave, you will drown. But if you wait for the wave that moves with your wind, you will ride it farther than most people ever will.
And so we reach the end of this journey into the depths of trading and the depths of the self. Always remember, the market is not a magician reading your thoughts, nor a beast lying in wait. It is a fair mirror, reflecting only the discipline, patience, and clarity you bring to it. A loss is not a disgrace, it is the price of learning. A profit is not the end goal, it is confirmation you are on the right path. And lasting success is not luck, it is the cumulative result of small, correct decisions made in difficult moments when the voice of fear was screaming and the voice of greed was whispering, but the voice of discipline was the strongest. Today you carry with you priceless tools, the key of structure, the power of a system, the weapon of discipline, the shield of risk management, and the insight of learning from losses. The tools are now in your hands, and the door is open. But a final warning. Knowledge without application is an illusion, advice without commitment is deceit, and videos without practice are mere entertainment. So I challenge you, I challenge myself with you. Do not be a spectator in your own financial life. Apply one point from what you heard today, just one. Test, make mistakes, learn, and rise again. No master was born a master. Every great one was once a fearful beginner. Share with us in the comments what is the biggest challenge you have faced in your trading journey, and what is the one lesson you learned today that you will start applying immediately. For our community here is not just numbers. We are entrepreneurs, warriors in the financial markets, learning together, falling together, and rising together. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to receive all our in-depth lessons as soon as they are published. Share this video with a friend who deserves to hear this message. You might be the reason their journey is saved. Visit the link in the description to get the free gift we've prepared for you, the Disciplined Trader's Daily Review Guide. And always remember, knowledge without application is worthless, and discipline without effective tools is an uphill battle. But what if you had the correct roadmap immediately? I present to you my personal service, professional, carefully studied trading signals. I have refined this methodology through decades of victories and collapses, and through costly losses transformed into priceless lessons. What you will gain from these signals, proven wisdom, not just technical analysis, but a complete trading philosophy, clarity of vision, results built on reading the market as I read my own breath, infectious discipline. You will learn how to think, not what to think. To receive hand-picked signals as I choose my battles, contact me directly on WhatsApp. Send me the word signals, and I will inform you of the upcoming opportunities I see in the market right now. The market does not repeat itself, but it echoes the past. Let me guide you to the echo of profits. The greatest investment you can make is not in a stock or a currency. It is in yourself, in the mind that analyzes, the heart that endures, and the will that commits. The market is waiting for you, but this time you are ready. Thank you for your trust, and thank you for your precious time. This is Jesse Livermore reminding you, do not just trade with money, trade with principles. Do not seek to win the trade, seek to win the long-term battle. Until next time in the coming video, where we will continue building together. Keep your focus, maintain your discipline, and remember, only the deserving remain. Until we meet again, where legends are made and fortunes are built.